My daddy lets me play his account because I only have tier 2 tanks. He lets me play his account. He says I have to practice because I'm not a very good driver. I like to drive my tricycle on the driveway, but I have to practice with my tanks. So I play my daddy's account. Oops. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened? But this is like the time I fell on my driveway on my tricycle. It makes me sad. Daddy? My tank fell over just like my tricycle, Daddy.
Just want to say, hey guys, it's Klaus. Welcome to another episode on the channel where we watch regular guys playing regular games with regular results. Just regular standard stuff. No unicoms. And we're going to watch Alex the Assassin here in his Panther M10. He's got 2 marks on his barrel. And guess what? He is going for his 3rd mark. And when one of my subscribers gets a 3rd mark and sends it to me, if I find the email, I show that game. And I've got 2 to show you today. We got Alex the Assassin and then another one. And look at him. He's moving down the lake road here in the beginning of this game. He's going to get his 3rd mark with this game. So we're going to celebrate and watch him. Look how far he's going down here. He's just making a move. And we're getting right into the gameplay here. We just had a short intro and right into the gameplay. Look where they are. The Object 416 and him. They don't spot anyone. But this is how you get your 3rd mark. You have to try and get spotting assist as well as damage because your 3rd mark is achieved. Well, not just your 3rd mark, but any of your marks are achieved by the last 100 games you played. Kind of a weighted... there's a mathematical formula average of those last 100 games, the total damage you do plus damage assist per game. So you have to rank higher than, like 90 whatever percent of the player base to get that 3rd mark. 65% for the 1st mark, 85 for the 2nd, and I think 95 for the 3rd. If you get 3 marks on your barrel, it means you've played your tank, and in your last 100 games, you have averaged more damage and damage assist combined per game than 95% of the player base. And it takes the last 100 games you've played, and it's not just a straight average, it's a weighted average, so your more recent games count more than, say, a game you played 65 games ago. So when you have a bad game, your percentage drops. You could be at 94.5%, and you have a really terrible game, and that game counts more than all the other games, and you drop 1 or 2%, and then you have to grind back up, and that bad game is in the average, and it gets less and less important as you have more games in a row that are good. So the trick is to have a lot of games in a row where you get a lot of damage and damage assist. It doesn't matter if you win. Win rate has nothing to do with it. So staying alive and racking up the damage and damage assist are very important. You got it? Okay, so now we can enjoy watching the games here, and you'll notice that when people are trying to 3-mark a tank, they play it a little bit differently. They're not very interested in dying immediately. And that is why a lot of trolls and simpletons and morons that witness someone 3-marking a tank say, well, he's just a stat padder. Yes, that's true. He is padding his stats. He's making his stats a lot better than your stats. He's just camping. He doesn't want to die. That's true. He does not want to die right away because that would be bad for his stats. So the simpletons, morons, and idiots that don't understand it, that are jealous because they can't do it, that immediately, it's because they can't do it, they immediately think that people that can do it are just doing it for themselves. They're being selfish, and they don't really know how to play the game, and they're not really helping the team. Like the 46% player that dies immediately all the time. The only reason that guy is a 46%er that dies all the time is because there's all these guys that are up around 62% getting those 3 marks on their barrels hogging all the damage and being selfish. If it wasn't for them, that 46%er would be up around 47.5, I guess. Or, I don't know what the reasoning is, but that is the typical. It's such a strange human reaction, right? Here's a guy who is better, according to a certain statistic, than 95% of the player base, and the statistics happen to be getting damage and assisting in damage, which are probably the two most important statistics in the game. Because remember, if you get a lot of damage and assist in a lot of damage consistently every game, chances are you will probably win more often, because the idea of the game is to damage the enemy tanks and assist your team in damaging them. So, you know, it's going to help. It can't hurt to do a lot of damage all the time, but yet there are some players that, oh, he's just a stat patter. He's just going for his stripes. He's not helping the team. Well, here he goes. He's going to not help the team now by attacking this E25. Let's see how he does this. The E25 is bounced. The E25 is going to face hug him and ram himself for 3. And now look, he's putting his ass up on the rock so he has the gun depression to hit the E25. He bounced anyway. He is having a hard time with this E25. But for some reason, the E25 is not shooting. And that's why the E25 does not have 3 marks on his barrel. He's probably, that guy was just stat padding me. He was being selfish. He wasn't helping the team. He was just going for his 3rd mark. I'm a team player. I went up there and fought him. I'm halfway to my 1st stripe. Well, actually, I don't know what was going through the mind of that E25 player, and I'm sure that he is probably a great guy and a great player, and I was just using him as an example, using my artistic license to inject some humor and some je ne sais quoi into the video. So my dearest and deepest apologies, Mr. E25. You did a good... well, you dying on the lake road there allowed me to prove a point. And anyone who thinks that a guy who's to wrap this up, anyone who thinks a guy who's working on his 3rd stripe is just a selfish stat patter and is not really helping the team, I just got one thing to say to you. And now let's watch him handle this Ferdinand here. Now you notice that he's not just going to drive in front of the Ferdy and get hit. He's going to wait till the Ferdy shoots and then move and then shoot him. And he's getting some damage assist here, I think, because he's the guy... unless his teammates already had, actually, I don't know if he's getting the damage assist, but now that he tracks them, yes, now he's going to get damage assist. Because he moved in there and was careful and didn't allow the Ferdy to just shoot him. He waited, and then he tracked them and got the damage assist. If you learn anything in this video other than listening to my ridiculous commentary, one of the most important factors of getting your 3rd stripe, other than killing these artillery and getting shot by your own teammate, is damage assist. Tracking people. Go for the track wheel. You wouldn't believe, if you play exactly like you, look at these results, by the way. Great job. And we're moving on to the next one here, but let me just finish up first. If you play exactly like you normally play, and I learned this, this is something that clicked with me just recently, just play exactly like you've always played. You don't have to change anything or learn anything or take lessons. Just do exactly what you have been doing up till now, but only make one modification. Is when you're going to aim at someone, whether it's from the side or the rear or the front, if all you do is change, oh, there he is, rather than shooting him in the middle on the side, you shoot his track wheel. Okay? So it's a very small adjustment. There's an enemy. I'm going to take a shot, and what do we all do? We just take a shot. But instead of just taking that shot in the center of the tank, just aim for the track wheel, so you hit the shot and you track them. And just do that. Just make that one modification. Just do that. Mindfully do that all the time. You will increase your stats like you wouldn't believe because of the damage assist that will rack up. And I'll explain why. Because if you take let's say you have a gun that does 200 damage and you take a shot and you hit and you do 200 damage, okay, that's fine. You get credit for 200 damage. But if you take a shot at the track wheel instead of the middle, and you hit, you may do your 200 damage, but maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of your teammates will also shoot that tank, and those teammates may do 400 or 500 damage to him while he's tracked, you will get 400 or 500 damage assist with that one shot. Even if the shot on the track wheel doesn't do any damage and 2 or 3 or 4 of your teammates shoot, you will get more damage assist than you would have just straight up damage. So tracking those tanks, if there's anything you learn in this video, as I ignore this second game, go for the track wheels. And who are we watching here? Let's move on now. And who is this guy? It's Sergiu Luca in the T-34. And look at this. He's while I've been babbling on there, he's already up to 600 damage with this gun that does barely any damage per shot. And hats off to you, buddy. Look at his loadout. He's down to 62 shots. It's all regular ammo. He has no HE and no APCR. And this guy's going for his third stripe. He plays the tank like this all the time. He's not relying on spamming APCR or gold or whatever it is to make sure he doesn't bounce shots. He's just playing it like a working man, and he doesn't even have an automatic fire extinguisher. He does have binocs, which I think is the right choice for a low tier tank. When you look at the view range of this tank, if he was running optics, he would not get the view range up enough so that it really makes a big difference. But I bet in a lot of his games where he's like, let's see if he does it now. He pulls up into a bush and remains stationary. Now his binocs will kick in. So even if he's got teammates beside him, with the extra view range the binocs give him, he is going to get credit for a lot of damage assist. Let's see, they're shooting this T-67. Are any of his teammates going to shoot as well? Let's see if it happens. Oh, the T-67 actually sees him. They're going to change. Did he get damage assist there? No, he did not. There's a P-43 that's actually closer to the enemies, and no one else was shooting that T-67. But I'm making the point here, the second point. The first point was always aim for the track wheel. Does he aim for the track wheel here? No, but this guy's just going to sit. He should be aiming for the track wheel because you get damage assist when you track people. The other way to get damage assist is to out-detect the enemies, to have better view range than your teammates, so that even when you move up with your teammates and you have better view range than them, and you're the guy that spots the first tank way off in the distance, and then everybody shoots, you're the guy that gets the damage assist. So in the low tiers, where the view ranges are typically low and there's poor crews, and the view ranges of the tanks, even with if people are running coded optics and the skills, recon, and situational awareness, they get nowhere near the maximum, because that's the case in tier 4, 5, 6, and even 7. When you run binocs at the low tiers and you get your view range above that maximum, then a lot of times you end up being the guy that detects the enemies and gets all the spotting assist. So there you go. Here he goes. Third mark. Way to go, both you guys. And just the takeaway from this video, guys, if you want to increase your chances of marking your tanks and getting more marks of excellence, shoot for the track wheels and maximize your view range. Those are the two ways you can increase your damage assist. Let's shout out both these two guys, Klaus subscribers that got their third marks. And if you guys get a third mark, send it to me. And in the email that you send, put in the title, third mark, or I'll never find it.